You know what it would be amazing to do with this film is grab your mom or grab anyone that you know is a mom, show them this film and film their reaction. I think that would be amazing. What's up everyone, welcome back to another video here on the channel Royal Horror. I'm so grateful to have you here with me to talk about films, to talk about horror films, non-horror films, and in this case we're going to be discussing and we're going to be reviewing one of the newest drama, comedy, horror films starring Amy Adams called NightBitch. Now I hope YouTube doesn't take my video down because of the title of this film, because I'm going to be saying the word bitch too many times. I hope they just take it easy with me. So I really hope that you've been doing well. I really hope that you're enjoying December. Me personally, this time of the year is always like a plus for me. I really like December, and I'm really glad that this movie came out at this time of the year, because I feel like December is such a like friends, family, any kind of family kind of month. So I'm really happy that this movie can like bring the moms into the cinemas, or like wanting to be moms or families overall. So I think they did well to release this movie in December. However, at the same time, I'm not really sure, because this movie is competing against films like Wicked, Gladiator, Moana, so it's 50-50. But nonetheless, I'm just really happy to be here talking about NightBitch with all of you. So the structure that I follow with this video is I'm gonna be very straightforward. This video is gonna be completely spoiler free. This movie review is gonna be very short, so that I can get you hyped to watch this movie. I totally recommend to watch this movie, because I think this movie is gonna be one of those movies that can have different perceptions in the audience. So I will obviously totally recommend this, like especially at the cinemas. Obviously I will always recommend watching movies at the cinemas, but obviously if you cannot go, this is also a good streaming kind of film. So NightBitch, starring Amy Adams and directed by Marielle Heller, follows a woman thrown into the stay-at-home routine of raising a child in the suburbs. It slowly embraces the feral power deeply rooted in motherhood, as she becomes increasingly aware of the bizarre and undeniable signs that she might be turning into a dog. So that synopsis is honestly wild, and we're gonna talk about it in my review obviously. But my relationship with this film is that when this film got announced, I was really excited and I was really hyped, because obviously I really like Amy Adams. I think she's such a Hollywood actress. I think she's one of those actresses that it doesn't matter what kind of film it is, it doesn't matter that you don't know anything about the film, just because Amy Adams is the lead, I think this actress is one of those actresses that will always keep the audience wanting to watch the film, at least with me. Like, I don't really care what the movie is, but if Amy Adams is the lead, I am sold. And I think this is one of the best things that this movie has to offer, and that's mostly my relationship with this film. I was excited, I was hyped, mostly because of Amy Adams, and obviously because like one of the subgenres in IMDb and Letterboxd and Google is that it was body horror, horror comedy, dark comedy, so obviously everything was adding it up. So jumping directly into the positive aspects from this film, I think one of the strongest aspects this film has to offer is obviously the storyline, the screenplay, obviously the script, and the metaphors all around. And the main reason why I'm saying this is I think it's because this is a storyline, even though we have had many films this year, horror and non-horror, about motherhood, about mothers, I feel like this movie is one of the most realistic mom's films out there, because I feel like this movie is showing the side of motherhood that not many films out there really show. You know, like this movie is not about trauma, this movie is not about losing a child, this movie is not about abortion or anything like that. No, this movie is about, we have a mom with her 2-year-old son, and we mostly see all the negativity from being a mom. We mostly see a mixture between the positives and negatives of being a mom combined together, and I think that's one of the best things that this movie has to offer. I think it was fantastic that this movie knew how to combine such a strong concept of motherhood, because obviously we know being a mom, becoming a parent is not an easy job, and it's not an easy decision, and a lot of things come with it, especially for yourself, not only in your body, but obviously in your environment, in your mindset, in your life, in your present, future. And I think this movie really knew how to talk about those topics with different metaphors. Another thing that I really love about this film is that I think this movie is for everyone, like obviously especially for moms, but also for women out there that want to become a mother, of any kind, you know, like even if you want to be a biological mother, if you want to adopt a child, I think this movie is for everyone, because I feel like I said before, this movie is very realistic, and I feel like this movie really can talk and really can communicate with those moms out there that are going through the same as the main character, or that have faced similar stuff as the main character. So I think that was an amazing touch that this movie had to offer to its audience. But also, I feel like this movie is a great way to communicate with those women out there that are planning to become a mom, but they're not really sure if they should, they're not really sure if they want to, because of the fears that they might need to change in their lives or like in their bodies and all of that. I feel like this movie can talk with those women out there that are not really sure if they want to become moms biologically or adopting. Because another positive aspect that this movie has to offer is obviously the performances and the acting from everyone, especially from Amy Adams. I think this woman, she was made for this role. I think she was the perfect casting, the perfect choice, because she really portrayed it a good mom. Like, she really portrayed it. Like, I believed she was the mom of this child. I believed the struggles that she was facing. I believed that at certain point she didn't want to be a mom. I really believed that she was struggling so much with herself, with her body, with her son, with her husband, with life in general. I really believe that, thanks to her performance, her body language, her facial expressions. I think facial expressions in acting is so underrated, because if an actor or an actress if they don't have good facial expressions, I think the storyline can fail to be told. But thanks to Amy Adams, you really buy everything that she's going through, because sometimes she doesn't talk. Sometimes she's just moving her eyes. Sometimes she's just moving her mouth so weirdly because of the situations that is happening around her with her child. And yeah, all that is thanks to her acting. So I really applaud Amy Adams, because she really tried her best with the script, because it might seem like the script is easy to be performed, because it's like you just need to be a mom, but obviously it's not that easy. I'm not really sure if Amy Adams is a mom, but if she's not, that's even like more recognizable, or like I'm even like more hyped around her, because I really believe that she was the actual mom of this child, like biologically, you know what I mean? And this might be like an unpopular opinion or something, but I loved the performance from like the main child, like the little boy, because wow, like it's not usual that we see like amazing performances from like 2 or 3 years old, you know? Like this kid, I believe that I was watching a documentary where he was like the main lead or something, because he felt so real. Like the way this kid was directed, or like you can tell this kid was very comfortable on set, and everyone was behaving so well around him. I think it was fantastic, especially because this kid, I can only imagine how difficult it must have been for the filmmakers to work around this kid, because obviously he's basically a baby. So the fact that he was so comfortable with Amy Adams, the fact that I believe the relationship, their chemistry, like they were so cute together, I really believed. And I really loved the emotions that both of them portrayed, especially obviously Amy Adams, but also the baby. Like I believe this baby loved his mom. I believe this baby felt safe around his mom, like all of that. And thanks to, again, the acting, and I know it might sound stupid because I'm like applauding or I'm clapping the performance from a baby, from a child, but trust me, if this baby or if this kid didn't have a good performance, I don't think the storyline could have like hit as it did, or like I don't think the storyline could have worked as it did if it wasn't because of the acting from this baby. Like I said before, and we can talk about that again, it's like I just really loved how realistic and how humanistic this movie felt, because it really touched topics that movies out there, or like society out there, like they don't really want to talk about it. Amy Adams has a monologue where she's talking about like nobody really talks about the struggles that come with being a mom, because not everything's happiness. And there is so many scenes in this film where Amy Adams just feels like she doesn't want to be a mom anymore, and sometimes you even feel like she doesn't love her child anymore. And I know many moms out there, because obviously from my experience from like moms that I know, sometimes they go through that phase where they don't feel like being a mom. Obviously it's something very challenging and it's something very harsh, because obviously it's not easy. So the fact that this movie touched that topic was admirable, if you ask me, because I can only imagine, obviously I will never know what it is to give birth. I will never know what it is to be a mother. So, but because of the experience that I have from like relatives or friends, I can understand why this movie might hit places to different women out there. But also, even if I take the fact that I'm not a mom, that I will never be a mother and all of that, I really felt what this character was facing, especially because obviously she had to end her career. Her husband is never around, and when he is, he's very useless. And like I love the montage this movie has, where like her life is basically a non-stop routine. Like her life is basically the same thing every day, and that felt like hell. Like I felt the dread, I felt how uncomfortable she was feeling, I felt the routine, and I felt that she was never escaping. I really felt all of that negativity when it comes to being a mom, or like her life in general. And also that brings me to the point that this woman, she had a fantastic monologue with another mom in the movie, where like this other mom, she's pregnant, and Amy Adams is like, oh my god, I cannot believe you're gonna go through this again, like are you even sure, or something. So it's like those are like real talks, those are real like humanistic storylines that I love to see in these kind of movies. Now, another positive aspect that I have to give to this movie is how it made me feel when it comes to like the body horror, or like the sound design and all of that, because a lot, like this character Amy Adams, she's facing so many changes in her body, so there is a lot of like images and pictures, sounds when it comes to liquids coming out of her body, or like sometimes like there is one scene where she takes her sweater off and we see some stuff. Like all of that really grossed me out, and I think obviously that was the movie's intention. So I think the movie really succeeded to make me feel grossed out, and I think that was immense. I think the makeup, the practical effects, they were really good, especially when there is a few scenes where Amy Adams, she's like shaking her back and she found this like mass, and she tries to like take it out and all of that. That was really graphic. I did like what they did with the makeup in her body and the sound design, because it was really gross. It really made me feel like uncomfortable, but obviously that was the movie's intention. So I was really pleased with the communication the movie had with me when it comes to like the little amount of body horror that the movie had. So now, leaving the positive aspects, because it's like this video is spoiler free, we're gonna be talking about the negativity, or like the negative aspects that I have to give about this movie. And I think one of the main ones is that this movie plays it so safe. Like this movie plays it so safe, is so convenient for the main character, for the other characters. Like that third act, like the end of the second act, third act was so cliche. Like I could see this ending coming from miles away, and I really didn't like that. I wish the movie kept the inconvenience and the struggles throughout the entirety of the film, because sometimes you don't have a happy ending in real life. Sometimes you just can't accomplish what you want to accomplish, or sometimes you struggle more and you cannot get there. And I feel like the movie was the opposite. At certain points, the movie also felt that it belonged to the fantasy subgenre, which, don't get me wrong, I love a good fantasy film, but I don't think NightBitch should have felt as a fantasy film, especially because of the transformations in her body, and because there is a lot of dogs involved. And obviously I don't want to get involved in spoilers, but there is a lot of like dogs as characters, obviously because the movie is about that. But the way that it was portrayed, it was very like fantasy, kind of like PG-13 kind of film, and I really didn't appreciate it. Especially because Amy Adams is like the narrator when she's going through her mind, especially when like dogs are around. So that felt too like that it didn't belong to this film, because the movie had many strong aspects when it comes to the storyline, some of the body horror, but because of that fantasy touch, it really took me out of the film. Another negative aspect that I have to give to this movie is, obviously, even though this movie is a body horror and it has horror in its subgenre, I don't think it's pushed enough. I don't think the movie really goes there in the body horror, and I think they could have done it, because This movie is basically, as the synopsis says, she has the feeling she's turning into a dog. And I feel like they could have done so much more with it, and I feel like the way the movie portrayed that transformation was it was not ideal, because for this movie to have body horror on it, and for this movie to be labeled as a horror, I don't think they go there, and I think they should have, because for example, if you talk about The Substance, obviously there are different films. That movie goes places in the body horror, and it's also about body changes and all of that. But with NightBitch, I don't think they pushed it enough, and I think they should have, because if they did, I think I would have loved this movie even more. But I was a bit disappointed that this movie just didn't go anywhere with its horror, because I feel like if the movie went to those places, I think the movie itself and the storyline could have like had so many benefits when it comes to like the reactions in the audience. Like what I mean with this is that obviously there is so many films out there about motherhood with positive and negative aspects about it, but the fact that this movie was belonging to horror and it was not about religion, it was nuns were not involved, because obviously we had like motherhood or like birth horror films this year, like Immaculate and The First Omen. NightBitch had the opportunity to be a very realistic, human kind of film with body horror related to motherhood, and I don't think the movie goes there, and it's such a shame, because the movie could have been such a huge standout this year. But unfortunately the movie plays it so flat, the movie plays it so safe, the movie is very scared to go to the places that the storyline is asking for. So that's why I feel like this movie, it would not really stand out as in horror this year. It will stand out as a drama for sure, but not as a horror. And I think maybe the last negative aspect that I have to give to this film is the other characters, the other moms. I feel like it was not that realistic that Amy Adams was the only one going through hell. Like, I wish that at least another mom was going through the same thing, so like at least they could communicate, because it just didn't make sense that out of 5 moms, I believe that they are in the film, only Amy Adams was going through hell. So that was a bit unrealistic, and I feel like that was a bit too, again, like that it belonged to fantasy, because like I didn't buy that. Like the other moms, they felt very, very cartoonish, especially the mom that was always like smiling, the one that smelled like a strawberry. I feel like her character was so unrealistic. Like none of the other moms were struggling, which it didn't make sense, because there is one specific scene where Amy Adams is like, oh my god, look at this mom, she might be like me because she doesn't want to be like sharing stuff with her child here in the library. But that character disappears, and I wish they could have explored her relationship more with that character, because I feel like Amy Adams goes through hell so much by herself. Overall, those are like my thoughts in NightBitch from 2024. Let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel about this movie? Obviously, I would really recommend to watch this. Will I watch this again? Maybe no, unless I know someone that is a mom and I would love to hear her thoughts on the film or something. But for now, I'm okay with the one watch, and if this movie was stronger in the body horror or in the horror elements, maybe obviously I will give this movie a second rewatch, third rewatch, but for now I'm okay with just the one watch. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel about this movie? Did you enjoy NightBitch? Didn't you enjoy it? And let me know why. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, the notification bell, so that way you don't miss our next video and this video. Don't forget to follow me on my social medias, and let's interact, like send me DMs about the movie, how do you feel about the movie, recommendations, etc. But for now, I really hope that you have a nice end of the week. I really hope that you have a nice end of the day. We will talk to you soon in our next video. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.